saw the glowing border on the wrong thing. That's my excuse.
Well, you could tell that it's the map we're going to because the bottom of the bird's chin is also cut off here, so that's pretty indicative that the Raven Lord is set. And we're going to Cursed Hollow. So
as few chins as possible.
That's right.
You guys were memeing about that yesterday. I didn't totally catch that, but I don't think my chin will fit into my collar, so I won't be able to contribute in that respect.
That's all right. Well, Abathur draws the ban here because it's Cursed Hollow, but they prioritize the Blaze ban, which I can understand because it's so frustrating after that last game where they were just totally shut down by the bunker. They get the Malfurion first pick, but this leaves a lot of heroes open. Genji is open, Maiev is open, Garrosh, who hasn't been seen yet in this series, is open, so it's a little bit of a tough spot for Ballistix. You think sometimes with all these heroes open, you feel like, wow, this should be amazing, but actually you have to make a hard choice because what you don't take will be given to your opponent in this case. This is also Hanzo's best map of the 3 maps we've seen thus far because of the double boss here and his ability to clear camps very quickly. So he's one that might jump up because it's SC's best hero at the moment. Let's see. Tough choices here. I think if you take the Johanna Hanzo, it's a pretty solid option. Less boss control with the Johanna than, you know, other tanks that are available. The Tyrael they've been prioritizing especially. Okay, so Genji will be taken with Dahaka, so more of a map and global macro set of priority here rather than boss control.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see any teams be too willing to give Genji over to Miracle now that you know, Frankel's on their roster. Always fair to take that away, but I agree about the Hanzo. I come from the olden days where you just picked as many Shimadas as you could, but I guess it's not quite good enough for first pick. And yeah, there's still no Garrosh out there, so a little bit of a lonely day for him.
Garrosh is a great pairing with Malfurion, but it's a tougher map for him because the lanes are so far apart. He can't get as much value from rotation, and he doesn't do much to control the boss pit besides his taunt, right? Which can, you know, win you fights. The other thing to keep in mind is this is a really cool rotation for the Genji to come in with the Dahaka because you're leaving the tank choice up to Miracle. You're saying, okay, Johanna has been the go-to pick in this series. She's not very strong against Genji. She's not great on this map. So you're kind of saying, go for something a little bit... you go for the Johanna, but it's not going to be as strong as it would be otherwise, or kind of go for a flex pick. They do go to Diablo, which is super weird to see this highly prioritized, but it's one of Judy's best tanks. And he works very well with the burst damage of Jaina. So let's see how this one pans out.
Happy to see Jaina back in here. When I was watching Mid-Season Brawl, one of the things that was really kind of cool to see is kind of this re-emergence of, hey, mages can just actually kill everybody.
Burst meta, man.
Yeah, it's really fun for me to watch because as somebody who may not be able to do quite as good a job at the play-by-play, I don't really have to do that. I'm just like, well, the guy died. It happened in the span of about 0.5 seconds, and that's about all you can say about it. And Jaina really does assist me in that regard. So happy to see that grabbed second by Miracle.
Will be the Hanzo ban. They're moving away from that boss control. And Hanzo struggles on this battleground to... sure, there's a lot of objects for him to jump over with his trait, but if you're moving away from the fight with Hanzo, it's difficult to re-engage because of the way the walls work. Like, if you jump over a wall, you're not going to be in that fight for a few more seconds. So, you know, if you're constantly trying to protect yourself against the Jaina, with the Hanzo, it's not going to go well for you. So they don't want it. They don't want Miracle to have it because there's insane engage potential with Arrow into APOC, into the burst damage from Jaina. So it's a strong ban overall. As we see the Tyrael
ban?
Yeah, been the go-to. So much boss control with that. I wonder if this will be an Uther draft for Magi. It's one of his comfort picks. Less meta recently, but very powerful with the Genji still. Gives you a lot of blow-up potential onto Jaina, especially before she has her ice block unlocked.
Yeah, I think we can always expect that Magi is going to be, I think you were saying, kind of the weak link of the Ballistix roster.
For now, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say that just because they have been such a strong team. Say, okay, well, when you pick on the weak link, it's not like that makes the team weak overall. It's just that, especially after they kind of struggled at MSB, you have to kind of look for, hey, what was the problem that kind of led to that? Even though overall you would never consider them a weak team per se.
Oh yeah, definitely not. And Magi is a very strong support. He will get his Kharazim finally here, which was denied twice. Looks like that's been something he's been showing in scrims a lot, despite not prioritizing it at all at MSB, and we get the Falstad. So double global, very similar draft to what we saw yesterday on Dragonshire from Supernova.
Yeah.
It was the Deckard Kane support there, but a completely different draft in terms of what the support was trying to do, but similar in that it was the Falstad Dahaka for map control.
Yeah, absolutely. It really surprised me when we saw that from Supernova. I had no clue what to expect from them, and I think in general that was the situation most other analysts found themselves in as well. So even though it's a different team, I expect that Ballistix should be able to utilize that maybe even better than we saw yesterday, just because they do have so much experience there. But last two picks here for Miracle. What are we going to see?
Zeratul Tracer, so loss of threats for the Falstad.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about the blow-up comp. That's just a whole lot of burst damage.
I don't like this choice because there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of faux synergy when you look at this and you think, oh my god, but they have Ring of Frost plus, you know, APOC, the Void Prison, there's so much synergy. Tracer, how could Falstad survive? Like, he won't be able to soak, there's so much threat. But there's not a lot of protection for Tracer or Zeratul. Karazim can jump onto anybody and do some extra damage to blow them up. Falstad's got burst. Genji, you know, will probably just go for X-Strike, but even if he goes for Dragon Blade, he could do so much. There's not a lot of healing. Malfurion's healing is long sustained, and on the side of Ballistix, the damage is also mostly burst with the Karazim pick here. And they can grab a tank that supports that idea as well, and it will be the Anubrok. So the CC that holds it all together, Hooligan's favorite pick for the map.
Yeah, and we saw spell armor also going to be really, really effective against everything. Just not going to blow up, which is in general kind of the opposite of what Miracle want here. I'm just waiting for the VP right on top of the Ring of Frost. It's like, ooh, that anti-synergy, not what you want.
I mean, it can work out perfectly if everything is timed correctly, which is, it almost never happens anymore in the highest level of play. It was mostly used in North America and Taiwan as a staple, and even in those regions, it's like fallen off quite a bit.
But those are the regions I look to for the highest level of play.
Well, you need to adjust your focus.
Well, it's a good thing that I'm out here in HGC Korea. We can look for some high levels of play here. You know, I didn't know exactly if I was going to expect that from Miracle. It certainly seems like they have maybe strong individual play. I was watching, much to my, I guess, pleasure, that Nitrogen is still able to hold his own in the 1v1, but when it comes to everybody playing together nicely as a team, it still looks like Miracle has a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, there's, I mean, with a roster that's this rebuilt, you know, in scrims, sure, it's been going well, but at the high-stakes matches, it has not found that success yet. It's going to take time. So SDE, one of the ideas behind the Falstad Karazim is you can post 10, gust everyone away, and then you can 7-sided and blow somebody up. Usually the target is going to be the least mobile hero on the comp, so that'll either be the Diablo or probably the Malfurion. Sure, Jaina doesn't have that much mobility, but she's always going to be well positioned. So, you know, even if Malfurion tries to ice block his way out of it, he ice blocks and you gust everyone away anyways, and then he's caught there. So gust into 7-sided is definitely the way to be how this works. You could make an argument for Palm with all the burst that's designed to get back there and kill the Falstad, harass him, but with how much success we've already seen on this battleground, specifically with the Gust 7 combo, I think the Magi is definitely going to be looking for damage here. And there's just not a lot of support for the melees, you know, that are going to be getting in the front line. I could say melee, Tracer's not melee, but the dive heroes that are going to be getting into the front line, they will be just point-click jumped on and punched by Karazim. They're going to have some trouble.
Yeah, in general, getting punched by Karazim probably up there in the more painful things to experience. But I mean, you say Tracer also is not melee, but sometimes the way I watch Frankel play Tracer makes it seem pretty melee.
I mean, she does have a melee attack. I think it's actually called melee.
Yeah, no, it is literally called melee. So there is a melee component to Tracer, which in general feels a little bit odd, given that, you know, she is a ranged hero. But I guess very versatile in that regard. I don't know, I'm still excited to see Frankel play one of his more iconic champions, or heroes. Okay, I get one. That's my mulligan, guys. Don't fire me yet.
It's okay, it's okay.
One of his iconic heroes. But the other two, I guess, as far as like really big iconic heroes would be, I guess, Falstad, which was also taken away, Genji taken away. I mean, I guess we did see the iconic Julie Diablo.
Yeah, Judy got his Diablo here.
I think I said Judy.
Everyone knows what you mean. But
Do they know?
yeah, well, I mean, the hardcore fans.
If everybody knew what I meant, I think I'd be having a lot better time.
If this, you know, this is what the Tracer Falstad looks like, it's not a good sign for Miracle, right? Like, what Tracer does in this, when Falstad's offlaning like this, when you have the double global, is just farm pulse bombs and then constantly go try to kill him. And when he's just playing that safe and just soaking and you can't do anything, you feel bad. Now, what the trade-off is that they have this mid push, but look at what is going to happen. Bliss is going to clear this faster with help of the cannon towers, and that Blizzard did not actually connect with the wall. So this is going to be cleared faster, and then they're going to have a push during tribute. So the timing here is better for Ballistix. Tracer 1v1 against a Falstad bottom. It's not ideal. She doesn't have good wave clear. Falstad could stay there while she has to rotate up. Zeratul is going down. That's a tricky move. You can see it on the minimap, but SD is not scared for a second. And, you know, Natrojin understands the Falstad matchup quite well, obviously, on the Zeratul, but let's see how this pans out. In fact, he's dying solo. I was watching that on the UI up at the top. So that's just not a good sign. They've lost control of the map. They lost control of the tribute. The mid push continues. Tracer's trying to deal with that. That's not what you want. Ballistix is winning on all fronts right now.
Wow, yeah, this is not a great way for Miracle to start off what is the last chance that they have to come back before being another in a long line of 3-0 travesties that we've seen so far this season. I guess it's not that long a line, but that's the only results that we've had so far. Hooligan, there's the pulse bomb. It doesn't quite take him out, but there to finish the job is actually, I think, Tracer, yeah, to finish that off. So
yeah, just continuing the autos.
a nice pick by Miracle to free them up and allow Frankie to go ahead and get the first tribute.
Yeah, with Franco grabbing this and the, you know, the wall being blown up here by this last Ice Lance, you know, it's not the end of the world for Miracle. Problem being is there was soak mid and damage done mid and bottom throughout this, so despite that early pick, and they actually convert this into a counter kill, despite that early pick, the experience lead is becoming quite dwarfing. You know, it's becoming a bit of an issue, right? And, you know, Zeratul's trying to threaten the solo lane against SDE and is dying.
There's no threat there. Every time Natrojin goes forward, he takes way more damage. I guess he's trying to use that as the opportunity to try to bait SDE in, but he's in such a strong, dominant position there that even in the 2-on-1, he's still not super scared.
Yeah, he was also staying on his side of the lane. And the Diablo rotation was somewhat predictable. Even though he didn't have vision, he had his cooldowns available because he knew that he wasn't trying to get the kill on the Zeratul. He knew that Diablo was there because he was missing on the mini-map. This is a blue side tribute, so they're going to tie it up 1-1 easily while continuing to soak. And what's really cool about it is Dahaka's hiding in the brush right now, so they actually don't know where he is. He shows himself and gets threatened. But they could have imagined, okay, maybe he's not here, maybe we should push hard, and then maybe he gets a solo kill on Sniper while Sniper's pushing. Just very meta things that they're doing with this solo laner when they have the double glove. It's very difficult to deal with. They take an early boss with that double rotation top, knowing that Dahaka could come down to assist if need be. Slow rotation over here for Miracle. Now they're outnumbered. This could be a disaster. Okay, that was a really good route. Without that, that might have been a kill into level 10 and a double boss. So.
I mean, Miracle kind of got a late realization of what was happening. It's like, okay, well, are they bossing down here? Well, yeah, maybe, but the rotation was just a little bit too late. So Miracle, they're coming in, they're like, all right, let's stop. And then it was already taken, and they had to immediately back out. Like you're saying, yeah, without that route, they could definitely have had things turned around pretty painfully on them. But right now, they are still continuing to get further and further behind. A 2-level disadvantage, of course, only microscopically is level 9 about to hit.
This becomes a double boss now. This is why this map is banned so often right now, because this map can snowball like crazy. Lucky tribute spawn as well with the boss here for Ballistix on red side. They get the boss, they get the curse point. Finally, the bottom boss is dealt with, but they're going to have to deal with the top boss now as well. They can't look to contest this without 10. Natrojin just confirms everyone's here besides Falstad. And that's going to be it. I mean, they just have to take camps and try to defend. They're going to have that counter pressure bottom at least, but they just can't fight. The most interesting thing is that Palm is locked in. So they're not actually trying to utilize that combo we saw from Reset and Genji yesterday. Just going to look for some extra save potential when we do see 10s come online for Miracle. With all the combos there, I don't hate it. It's just a little bit unusual.
It's the safe way to play, right? I mean, I am always a bigger fan of like combos that involve heroes being there and then not the next second. So I guess we might not get that opportunity.
Well, you might. I mean, on the other side,
yeah,
Jaina,
Miracle is going to help me out there.
Yeah, holding that Ring of Frost potentially with APOC potentially. I mean, you can actually go for Ring Void into Lightning Breath. That sounds terrifying. Like, that's possible. It's always if compositions, though, these if scenarios that Jacob and I talk about. The more times you say if or possible or theoretically in a sentence, you know that the likelihood of it working out in a pro match in Korea is less and less. But
those are the safety casters.
Yeah, but look, it's a red side tribute here for Curse. Miracle has a positional advantage, and Ballistix may just delay this so they could push another fort down and not commit. Yeah, and they don't actually get the delay, which is nice for Miracle, but they grab the fort in a rare moment where two globals are together as a duo.
That is kind of odd. Generally, kind of want them to not be there when that starts. So Night Camp started, but I think this is an opportunity for Ballistix to come in there. Yeah, and indeed flying right back in. There's a gust northwards, and the lightning breath just all over everything. But I don't think it's going to be enough to keep Diablo alive there. Judy goes down, and I guess Frankel is kind of lucky to be alive, just dashing right back out of there, not really able to contribute.
So that's a rare gust scenario. Usually most high-level teams don't allow that angle to happen. The cool thing is he actually flew between the keep and the fort here, so right through this little area we're looking at right now. So he got an angle that Miracle just did not expect, even though they had vision of him flying, and he was able to gust them all into the pit where they got trapped and took all that extra damage. And, you know, Palm was used, etc., but the real story was all just the AoE damage coming out from Falstad and Anubarak, and then the Dark Swarm coming in from Dahaka. X-Strike was used more of a defensive escaping tool, that's why he locked it in. Let's see if Miracle, I mean, if they can win this fight, they could certainly turn this game around, but they don't have a comp that, again, works well in these moments. They have the heroic advantage, but they need to utilize it. It's all on Nitrogen. It's Water Elemental here, so no combo potential. With Ring of Frost, Judy out of position.
Yeah, he gets pulled back in. And there's the Lightning Breath to try to get counter engagement. I don't think it's as scary as he wants it to be. Hooligan actually uncharacteristically low, and it looks like he is going to be palmed right back in there. Another perfect drag, and there will be the death on Malfurion.
Yeah, didn't get any silences off either, and this is just going to be the full wipe. I don't think anyone dies for Ballistix. Moggy doing a great job of keeping everybody alive.
Oh, even SC playing it about as close as he could. Comes out with a big kill, and what a dominant fight by Ballistix. 3 levels up. Okay, almost 3 levels up.
There will be 3 levels up in just a few seconds. SDE gives the defiant squawk there on the Buccaneer Falstad skin as the wipe is real. The top keep wall is being destroyed right now. Waves in the bot lane are going to be soon affecting the bottom. Keep wall, easy, big keep. They can rotate up to get the top as well, at least start working on that. They don't have a ton of range damage or poke, so the curse is quite essential for them to get structural damage done. Hooligan with the snafu here, though.
Yeah.
He comes in. He wants to turn this into a fight they can win. He dies first, though. It's going to be a trade.
Yeah, I mean, the keep is the real big objective, right? So as long as that's taken, then it's kind of mission accomplished no matter how much they sacrifice for it. Now, that being said, if they all go forward and die here, then maybe there's something coming back the other side, but I don't think that's going to be the reality. With another, like, I guess, semi-wipe, I don't know if there's a whole lot of comeback material here for Miracle.
Needs to get a kill onto somebody here, or they are just going to lose this game straight up, and he just can't do it alone.
Yeah, no ring up either means that...
That's the series.
There it is! And boom goes the Dynamite, or the core as the case may be. A 3-0 for Ballistix, looking pretty fantastic, and for Miracle, not a whole lot of signs of life.
I mean, a lot of things have changed in the Miracle roster. We've heard rumors of the Scrim success, the talent on